The cold wind sliced through the busy New York streets as people bustled past a ragged man sitting on a worn-out bench. His beard was thick, his clothes tattered, and his eyes, though sharp, were ignored by those who deemed him invisible. "Hey, old man, this seat taken?" A young businessman in a tailored suit smirked, flanked by his friends, who chuckled at the joke. The man slowly looked up, his piercing gaze unsettling the group. "It was a long time ago," he murmured cryptically. They laughed. "What? Did you own this city once?" One of them sneered. The man simply smiled. He had owned more than they could ever imagine. A father's secret. Across the street, in a sleek black car, a woman watched the scene unfold. Sophia Caldwell, poised and elegant, gripped the leather steering wheel. Her heart pounded as she stared at the homeless man, the same man from the only photograph she had of her father. For 20 years, she had lived in the shadow of a mystery. Why had her father, Jonathan Caldwell, a billionaire, abandoned his family without a word? The scandal had rocked the media, but after a year, the headlines faded. All that remained was a hole in her heart and the mother who never spoke his name again. But now there he was. "Driver, stop the car," she ordered, stepping out into the biting cold. Her heels clicked against the pavement as she approached. The group of businessmen still jeered, unaware that the man they mocked was once wealthier than all of them combined. Sophia cleared her throat. "Jonathan Caldwell?" The laughter ceased. The homeless man looked up sharply, recognition flashing in his eyes. A breathless silence stretched between them before she whispered the words that had haunted her since childhood. "Daddy, why did you leave us?" Buried lies and hidden wealth. The businessmen exchanged puzzled looks. This was Jonathan Caldwell? The same mogul who had built an empire from nothing, only to disappear without a trace. Jonathan sighed, rubbing his temple as though preparing for a battle he never wanted to fight. "Sophia," he said, his voice thick with unspoken emotions. She trembled at hearing her name from his lips. "You walked away. No goodbye. No explanation. Do you know what that did to us?" "To Mom?" Jonathan exhaled, glancing at the crowd forming around them. "This is neither the time nor place." Sophia shook her head. "I deserve answers. Everyone thought you were dead. But you're alive. Here. Why?" The young businessmen lingered nearby, their curiosity piqued. "Wait, you're Jonathan Caldwell," one blurted. "But you were worth billions." Jonathan smirked. "Funny how life works, isn't it?" He stood up, and suddenly, despite his worn-out clothes, there was something powerful about him, an aura that made the young men shrink back. "Tell me," Sophia pressed, "did you lose everything? Was it money that made you disappear?" Jonathan's jaw tightened. Money was never the problem. A dangerous truth. The wind howled, carrying the weight of unsaid truths between them. Jonathan finally turned to his daughter, his blue eyes clouded with something she couldn't quite place. "Get in the car, Sophia. I'll tell you everything." Sophia hesitated, but nodded, her heart hammering as she followed him into the black sedan. As they drove through the city, he remained silent. Finally, they reached an abandoned building, a place that looked untouched for years. Jonathan stepped out, motioning for her to follow. Inside, the air was stale, but the moment the doors shut, he turned to her. "What I'm about to tell you," he said, "is something I couldn't risk saying until now." Sophia swallowed hard. "What do you mean?" Jonathan glanced around, checking the shadows. "I never left because I wanted to." He hesitated, then added, "I left because I had to." Her blood ran cold. "Had to? Why?" He leaned in. "Because someone wanted me dead. The game was never over." Sophia's breath caught. "What?" Jonathan reached into the lining of his ragged coat and pulled out a small, rusted key. "There are secrets buried deeper than you know. If I had stayed, you and your mother would have been in danger." Sophia shook her head in disbelief. Who Who would want you dead? Jonathan looked at her with sorrow. People who don't like losing. The kind of people who don't forgive mistakes. And I made a big one. Her mind raced. A corporate betrayal? A financial scandal? A crime? Then why come back now? She demanded. Jonathan's lips curled into a grim smile. Because it's time to finish what I started. Before she could respond, the building's door creaked open. A shadow moved. A figure stepped inside. Sophia turned, her pulse spiking. Jonathan calmly slid the key into her palm. Whatever happens, don't lose this. The stranger in the doorway spoke in a cold, calculated voice. Mr. Caldwell, we've been waiting for you.